Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. ThunderousTherapist here, and it's the 4th episode of the ThunderousTherapist series. As always, I recommend watching all the previous episodes before getting into this one, but other than that, without further ado, let's get to the questions. So for the first question in this video, which is actually about a specific individual, it reads as follows. Do you like MyUsernamesThis? Okay, so in case you don't know who MyUsernamesThis is, MyUsernamesThis is another content creator who mainly creates jailbreak content but had semi-recently gotten into some really heated drama and is now currently pretty inactive on YouTube for what I assume is a result of the drama. So to understand my answer to this question, I first need to give some backstory. So during my 2018 and 2019 years on the internet, I used to watch Creekcraft and MyUsernamesThis a lot, since during that time they were playing jailbreak a lot, and so would I. Since jailbreak was basically my main game, and probably still is, it was also MyUsernamesThis main game, so that's what got me interested in this content. However, I did later on start to notice that MyUsernamesThis started these trends such as the L spamming, bacon hairs with salad hairs, arresting specifically rich players, etc. Now at first I figured that the context of it all was a joke that he was doing on the video to make the content funny for the viewers, but then I started to notice how a bunch of his fans were doing the same thing on random servers. So it was like, hey, this is getting old, the joke is over, and his fans were just being very toxic in general. And of course, MyUsernamesThis continued to make videos such as about specifically arresting rich players. Of course, I knew that the reason for this was because rich players can be pretty toxic, which is definitely true, but not every rich player is toxic. I mean, I got a ton of jailbreak cash, and of course I can't exactly be a judge of my own character, but do I seem toxic to you? And a lot of his jailbreak videos consisted of versing other users in jailbreak, mainly in arresting competitions, as if being good at a video game is so essential. Now I can give a lot of benefit of the doubt that creating a toxic jailbreak community wasn't MyUsernamesThis' intention, and of course he obviously can't control what his fans do, so it's not 100% his fault that a lot of the jailbreak community became toxic as a result of his influence. Now there was this other drama situation that happened a bit more recently when he basically refused to pay a cut of his ad revenue to someone after they had helped him contribute to the production of a video that he posted on his channel. MyUsernamesThis did say that he would do a split with them, but then changed his mind later on for whatever reason. Then he'd say he didn't have to pay because it said on a person's website that they would do whatever their services are for free. But even then, it has still been agreed to split the ad revenue, so MyUsernamesThis should have just stayed true to his word and not screw the other person over like that, because that's just being selfish at that point. And later on, someone actually had copyright strike the video after MyUsernamesThis refused to do the ad revenue split. Now keep in mind that I don't know the full story to that situation, and everything that is stated here might not be 100% accurate. Like if I was the one cracking down on this, I would ask more questions and for more context and everything from both parties. Let's see how both parties are acting, see how both parties are handling the situation, collect evidence of whatever has happened, and then come up with a conclusion from there. You have to understand that there are 3 sides to every story. There's party 1, there's party 2, and finally, there's the truth. So therefore, I can't make any final conclusions about that situation, and I'm just going by what I know. Now, apart from all that, not all my experience and everything I've seen about MyUsernamesThis is bad, as I did enjoy his content for a while. Like, he gave me the idea that looks don't matter, which I can 100% agree with. I am able to relate to some of his childhood experience, and he also one time rated one of my live streams. So overall, I used to like MyUsernamesThis a lot, but I don't really like him as of now. But I also will always have some respect for him because, like I said, I did enjoy his content for a while. I was able to relate to him a bit, and he had also gone out of his way to raid my stream that one time. So I do hope he's doing well, and regarding all the drama that he's been in, I hope that he can learn and change from it in order to better himself and of course realize why it's wrong. But other than that, I do wish him well. Okay, well that was a pretty long answer for the first question, but moving on to question 2, it reads as follows. What would you change about yourself if you could? Honestly, it would be great if I was able to have an easier time interacting with people, especially in person. As you may know, I'm pretty introverted and I get a little uneasy whenever I have to socially interact with another person unless I know them well. I find it a lot easier to interact with people over the internet. Like right now, for example, I'm recording this video because I'm by myself in my room looking at my monitor and speaking to my microphone. And let me tell you, when I first started editing my videos with my voice in it, I would cringe so hard from it, but after a while, I got very used to it. So if I could feel more comfortable and confident in social situations, then that would be what I would change about myself if I could. So moving on to question 3, which is actually very similar to question 2, but a little bit different. And question 3 reads as follows. If you can magically change one thing in your life, what would it be? So if I were to change something in my life, I would simply want to be guaranteed that I would achieve all my life goals. Other than that, I wouldn't want anything else to change since I want to live my life the way it is. And have to figure things out when life throws me roadblocks so that I can learn from all that experience, and so I'm able to pass down all that experience so that other people can learn from my experiences as well. So moving on to question 4, it states as follows. What life lesson did you learn the hard way? Throughout my life, I'd say one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned is that you need to be very patient in order to achieve your goals. This can be connected to a lot of things, such as waiting to graduate high school, waiting for my YouTube channel to take off, waiting in line for something, waiting for packages or mail to arrive, and many other things that we have to be patient for that I just can't think off the top of my head right now. My mom had actually one time told me that half of adult life is about waiting, and I think she's right. And I've learned it's a hard way since I've had to be patient with so long to be able to achieve certain goals of mine. And it felt great once I finally reached those goals, but I still have even more goals to reach, and I know I have to be really patient to reach those goals as well. So if anything is to be learned here, you have to be willing to be very patient and not give up if you want to keep moving forward. So moving on to question 5, and also the last question in this episode, it reads as follows. What are some tips for someone to overcome high school? When I mean overcome, I mean being able to get caught up with learning and studies while still having time to do other stuff like gaming. Well, the answer to this is actually a lot more simple than you think. You just have to balance out your school and the time you spend on your hobbies. I personally would always get all the homework I need to get done before I went on my PC. And for any long-term projects like an essay, I would do some of it one day, then some of it another day, of course having it done by the time it was due. But not overwhelming myself with too much work on a certain day, leaving me no time for my PC, because too much work isn't good for your mental health. Too much on your hobbies isn't good for you either, and that's why you need to balance it out by doing your work and doing your hobbies so that you can be productive and enjoy life at the same time. For example, let's say you go into college or a trade school and you also had a job. I would work part-time instead of full-time, because if you work full-time and you're going to school, that would be way too much work and it wouldn't be healthy for you. Of course, everyone's circumstances are different, but no matter what your circumstances are, you should still put in a lot of effort to balance out your work and hobbies. And so to sum it all up, don't focus so much on one thing to the point where it's all you do, because then you're either going to be too overwhelmed with work, never having any fun, or you'll be too distracted by your hobbies, not being productive at all. So yeah, that's going to be it for this ThunderousTherapist episode. If you did enjoy, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Bye.